Hey, if you're seeing this video, it's because you're a model and your agent thinks that you have potential to be an actor as well. Or maybe you have interest in that. And I am an acting coach. I'm also a model. I'm also an actor and a mom and a horse mom. And I've been where you are. And I know what you're scared of, and I know what your insecurities are because I have them. I have had them. And I know how to get through them. And I also know something that I really want to share with you, which is my total motivation for making this video today. You might not know what you have that you already do, your skill set that you already have that is 100% transferable to acting. Okay? I'm telling you, you're halfway there already. And I'm going to tell you why. I modeled for a long time. I did all the things, I did Vogue. I traveled Paris, Milan, New York, and I've been an actor since I started modeling when I was 17, started acting when I was in my 20s. I was already kind of partially trained just by being a model. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand like all of the assets that I already had. And, but it made my transition to acting easy. There's so many things that are already in place and your agent wants to run with this. So I'm going to tell you, first of all, what those skills are, okay? Most models are scared of speaking on camera. So let's just say right away, you're already speaking every day. You already know how to talk. You already know how to play parts. We all play parts in life. We are mother, well, maybe you aren't, but I am. We are brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend. Being a model is playing a role. You are playing a role of a model, right? So we're already acting in real life. We're already speaking. You don't have to have a different voice for acting. It's your natural voice. That is your acting voice. So all it is learning the skill of breaking down scripts, speaking on camera, most of which you already know how to do. Okay? It's just one more jump into one more skill. And it's really not that hard. If you've already had the experience where you've had to say lines and you've choked, let me just put it this way. If you didn't know how to play tennis and somebody threw you into Wimbledon, okay, would you choke? Probably, right? So if you're going to play in a tennis tournament, you would want to learn how to play tennis first. So that's all we're doing here. You just need to learn that skill. It's a craft, and it's actually really, really fun. So first, let me tell you all the things that you already know how to do. Well, first, that's why I'm here, is to tell you this. I wrote a list because I woke up this morning going like, what would I say to myself if I could talk to my 20-year-old self who was a model, who was really insecure about herself? This is what I would tell you. You already have the visual appeal that you need to be an on-camera actor, okay? You know how to do that. That is a skill. It's not easy to look good in front of a camera and have people examining you and measuring you and doing all of that. Okay, that is really hard to do. And to keep your weight at exactly the right place and your measurements the same and all of that. That takes a lot of discipline. And a lot of actors don't have that. So you already have that. That's just what you do. That's huge. Do you know how many actors were models that started as models? So many. They won't tell you all the time, but there's a lot because of that discipline, because they know how to look good on camera. There's also a lot of dancers who transitioned into acting because it's the discipline. Another thing that you have, besides the physical, visual appeal and the discipline to maintain it, is you understand castings. You understand that it's a numbers game. It's not personal. It's just, you just got to go on a lot of castings. A lot of actors take that way too personally and get way too attached to every single audition. You already know how to do that as a model, and you don't get attached because that would make you crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was modeling, I was like 8 to 10 castings a day. It's probably different now, but it was a lot of castings. So the number of auditions never fazed me, and I don't think it'll faze you either. Okay, what else? Oh, this is huge. You're not afraid of the camera. If you're new in modeling, you might still be afraid of the camera. You will get over that. But if you've been modeling for a while, you're not afraid of the camera. You understand camera angles. You understand just the awareness of the camera. So many actors I work with, especially the ones that are trained in theater schools, it takes them years to be able to work with the camera. You've already got that. Yeah, that's a big one. I'd have to look at my list. Hold on a sec. Oh. You have a desire to be on camera. You have the desire to share yourself on camera. That's not a normal thing. Okay. So if you have that, just know that's a very specific and special thing. So being a model and being an actor are very, very similar in that sense, is that you are okay with being looked at. In fact, that is, you thrive on it. You want to share on camera. So that's a big deal. A lot of actors are afraid of the camera. Okay, this is a huge one. So when you think, oh, I don't know how to work with a script, I can teach you that. That is a learnable skill. Okay, this is not some magic talent that actors have. It's a learned skill. But you already have a head start, because when you are on set, if you are thriving as a model, if you're working and thriving and you've made it this far, you know how to interpret all of the things that clients give you. So you might have like an art director and a photographer and all these people giving you different directions, and you have to then interpret that on the spot without freaking out and give them what they want. You're a service provider. You are providing the service of expressing what they need to sell their product. So whether it's, haute couture or Kmart, Walmart, whatever, or a product, a hotel, a Coca-Cola, whatever it is, you have to interpret what it is that they are trying to communicate and then communicate that. That's what actors do. You're already doing it. The other thing, this is huge. You know how to control your energy and your vibe on set. If you don't, you won't last. You'll get fired. And you won't be able to handle it. So I know that if you're watching this, you already know what I'm talking about. You know how to do this. So when all these people are shouting different directions at you, you know how to handle it without freaking out. You might freak out a little bit on the inside sometimes, but you know how to contain it and how to keep the vibe high. So when you're a model, and if you don't already know this, you should know this. You have so much control over the vibe on set. Everyone's looking to you. You're the focal point, right? You're the star. Well, sometimes you are. You're the person on camera that everybody's looking at. So first of all, you can handle it. Second of all, if you're a good model, you know how to set that vibe. You know how to keep the energy good, because they are looking to you. And you know that feeling. If you start to lose it, everybody gets very freaked out. Because if you're not confident, then what are we doing here? They're depending on you to be confident. So you might be insecure about that, but if you're working, you know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do it, you are learning it, okay? You will learn it. I can teach you that. The confidence to set the tone on set is a big one. It's why models who work a lot usually are the ones with personality and that are actually actresses. I always felt like that's why I worked. I was never the skinniest girl in the, shoot. I was the actor. I was the one that could set the tone and could play the part. So no matter where you are in your modeling career, even if you've done a couple of test shoots, you're already doing it. You already know what that is. Okay, those things are huge. When you're an actor, you get a script. When you're a model, you get a product, you get circumstances, you get a wardrobe, and then you have to act that part. So you see how similar it is? So most models think they're not smart enough to be, to memorize words. I'm telling you, it's not that hard, okay? There's a lot of dumb actors out there doing just fine. It's not an intelligence test, but I think that models' intelligence is highly underrated because there's so many moving parts to your career. There's so many moving parts to what you do on set. Okay, I get it because I did it and I know how hard it is and I know how strong you have to be to manage that. Plus, if you're international, you're doing all this traveling, you're dealing with all these different languages and different cultures, and that requires a lot of intuitive intelligence. So never underestimate your intelligence as a model, okay? No matter, just because you're not talking on set, doesn't matter. Models are some of the most brilliant people I've met in my life have been models. Oh yeah, underestimated, but brilliant. You're an artist. You're already an artist. So being an actor is just another facet of your art. You already have an agent who believes in you. That's huge. You know how many people, actors come to me and they don't have any of this. They don't have any of this. They're starting from square one. So you already have a massive advantage. The amount, let's just talk about money. The amount of money that you can make as an actor, okay? The industry has changed. If you've been in it a while, you know. If you're new, you don't know. I used to make, as a model, like easily thousands of dollars a day. Easily. There are a few days I made over $100,000 in a day's work. That was modeling in the olden days. It's not really like that anymore so much. Maybe it is for the top, but once the industry started to change, I widened my, my perspective and became an actor. So I never quit modeling. I modeled, I acted, I did commercials, I did all the things. And then I started coaching about 15 years ago because I have all this knowledge, how to do this. And yeah, I'm using it for myself, but I want to share it because I know how many years it took me to figure this out, and your agent can't tell you how to do this. Most acting coaches can't tell you how to do this because most acting coaches are not actually working on set. They're not actually in the business, right? So I have kind of a unique skill set myself. I work individually on Zoom like this. Sometimes I do classes, but I still have a career. So I'm still auditioning every day and doing all this stuff. So I don't work full-time in a school because I don't want to work full-time in an office anywhere except my own home office. So I do this privately. I work privately. But as an actor, as a model slash actor, a slashie, did you guys see Zoolander? If you haven't, you need to watch Zoolander. As a slashie, you have an income potential that's way bigger, way greater. You don't have to quit modeling. In fact, stay modeling because you're going to need it. But as an actor, actors make anywhere between $30,000 to $150,000 an episode. That's a week for our television series regular. Starting off is making $30,000 as a recurring guest star. That's not even a series regular. And if you don't know the terms I'm talking about, I can explain them to you. But let's just say she's working 1 or 2 days an episode and making 30 grand. Then when the show airs, she's going to make residuals, which is another 30 grand every time it shows for the first little bit. And then it goes down. But still, the next year, when you sign a contract for a series regular, the second year she's just a recurring guest right now. Then she gets promoted to series regular next year. She's going to make $70,000 an episode. The actors that she's working with that are already starting as series regulars, I think they're starting around $80,000 an episode. That's the first year. Second year it goes up. I don't know what their contracts are. I would love to know. The lead on the show that she's on right now, it's a Netflix show, is Michelle Monaghan, who started as a model. Hello. Michelle Monaghan is still getting up early in the morning to work out because she has that discipline that she learned as a model. Look, anybody that can prep for a swimsuit shoot, okay, can do anything. You can do anything. I still think about that. Remember that Vogue swimsuit shoot I had to do? And everybody was going out and eating normally, and I was on the swimsuit diet. Yeah, I remember that, and I still use that discipline when I need it. So as a model, as an actor, as a slashie model / actor, you can set yourself up for life in your 20s because there is so much work for young actors. So much. I see it because I have a daughter who's that age, and I see how many auditions she gets and what her friends are doing. And they're like models who can act because they're gorgeous. Okay. They know how to stay fit and they can act. That's why your agent is trying to do this, or is doing this talent section. But it's most modeling agencies who have, talent sections are not taken seriously because their models may not be trained. So that's why I'm talking to you, because they reached out to me to talk about training. There's some other schools that they've also spoken to. What I do is very individualized, and my whole goal is to get you working as fast as possible. So I don't need you to come to me once a week so that I can make a living. I'm good, But when somebody wants to do this and really wants to run, I will run with you as fast as you want to go. Usually I work with people 1 hour a week, and then I have an online course that they do on their own time. Some actors come to me 3 times a week because they're auditioning, and they come to me for every audition. So why do they do that? Is that a dependent thing? No, it's because when you audition, if you're up for a job, first 2 years, she's going to make almost $1 million. Isn't it worth hiring a coach to get you there, where you're going to make $1 million from one? In fact, she will make over $1 million in this job by the time the residuals kick in and all of that. One casting. It's going to pay you for life. That's acting. Okay? That's what your agent wants to get into, and that's why I'm here to help. So, if you're interested in that and you'd like to work with me, reach out. I am happy to run with you as fast as you want to run, and I love it. I'm here for it. I nerd out on this stuff. I can teach you how to break down a script. It's not scary. I will teach you how to deal with the nerves. I know how to do all of that. I can give you a system that you can use. It's like a rinse and repeat system to audition, to do self-tapes. The whole industry now is virtual, so it doesn't matter where you live. I live on a mountain, okay, with horses in the nature, in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows where I live. Doesn't matter. Everything is self-tape. Everything is this, okay, being on tape. You're already probably doing that, but acting is all that. So you can live wherever you want and audition around the world. Okay, you can work wherever you're legal. If you've got a European, work papers, frickin' awesome. You can do anything. There's no limits on this now. You're only limited by your craft and your ability to